0864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck. Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Tap it in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field. Back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
We've got a lot of Oregon athletics to talk about today, including some new swag, some new ticket deals, and some new kickoff times. All of that on the horizon. I'm Joey Mack. Thanks for being with us. Going to hear from Dan Lanning following that nice win at Arizona. You know, it's funny. I was talking to Terry Johns about this. There are definitely some fans, I think, that were uncomfortable heading into that matchup because of what's happened previously when the Ducks have gone to Arizona. You know, though, the fact is, really, apart from maybe a handful of student athletes, nobody was on the roster the last time Oregon didn't have some success there. And if they were on the roster, they weren't a regular starter, weren't a big-time contributor. I thought that was interesting. You know, we all as fans can sit back and look back on the history like we all did on Duck Insider last week and the Coaches Show. But the fact is that these student athletes, really, it was just a game to them. There wasn't a lot of unease heading into it. And with a brand new coaching staff, it certainly felt that way also. And you know what? Good for the Ducks. They took care of business, as they should, down in the desert. We've got a full recap for you coming up. Some fun stuff as well. And that pink game. We don't have a game this week. It is the Oregon football bye week. But we've got a kickoff time for Oregon UCLA before we talk about all things Oregon-Arizona kickoff. 12:30 on Fox or Fox Sports 1. 12:30 on Fox or Fox Sports 1. Oregon UCLA. Number 12 ranked Ducks hosting number 11 UCLA. 12:30 kickoff at Autzen Stadium. Game broadcast on either Fox or FS1. Both teams will return to action after a bye week. UCLA also on a bye week. Ducks are 5-1, 3-0 in Pac-12 play. Bruins are 6-0, 3-0 in Pac-12 play. They're two of the three teams still unbeaten in Pac-12 conference action, along with number 7 USC. The Ducks in the latest AP poll are the top-ranked one-loss team. Reserve tickets for Oregon's game against UCLA are sold out. Way to go, fans. Good work. Limited standing room only tickets are available. GoDucks.com/FBTix. Which brings me to the bye week. Or dare we say, bye week? You see what we did there? I know. We'll show ourselves out. But the ticket deals are actually ridiculous. This week, the bye week ticket deals. Limited standing room tickets are available. Act fast for Oregon against UCLA. On November 12th, only available to the first 500 purchasers for the Husky game. $10 off select tickets plus a $10 concession voucher. It's a good deal. That's for the Washington game. First 500 purchasers. GoDucks.com/FBTix. November 19th, it's the senior game. Celebrate the 17-man senior class with $17 off select tickets. All offers will expire on October 16th when the bye week ends. See what we did there? I know. We will show ourselves out. But the ticket deals are actually ridiculous. So the first 500 purchasers to the Washington game, you're going to get yourself basically free $10 concession voucher. I'd probably use that on a nice tall beverage personally, but, that's just me. And then the 17-man senior class, $17 select tickets. We're hoping that it's not just the UCLA game that's going to be a sellout. Washington, Utah, we want those to be sellouts also. Thanks for the support, fans. It makes a difference. You heard it at Autzen Stadium. You know what else is fun, though? When it's a sellout crowd on the road and you silence that crowd pretty quickly. That's what the Ducks did against Arizona. I want to go through the play-by-play of this game. We'll let Jerry and Georgie call the highlights here in a moment, but it was awesome. Awesome seeing Oregon score on 7 straight drives. How'd they do it? Well, opening drive, it's Arizona's ball. Crowd is fired up. Big play to Jacob Cowan got Arizona going, but the Ducks forced a fumble. They took over. And we saw a new defensive look on that opening drive that actually became a storyline later on in the game for an unfortunate reason. But we saw Christian Gonzalez slide in to play that slot in the nickel package, which meant Dante Manning along with Triquez Bridges were out there on the outside at cornerback. Worked out pretty well. We also saw Bennett Williams playing some deeper safety. So the Ducks, I said this all preseason, during the season, I'll continue to say it. The versatility of Oregon's defensive backfield is really important. And in this game, we saw that versatility on display. Unfortunately, after the Ducks forced that turnover, big key in any game, Ducks had to punt. But right back to Arizona, Ducks ended up holding them to a field goal. And it was like, all right, well, offense has got to get it going. And boy, did they. Noah Whittington had a great cutback and a burst. Ultimately, Ducks score at 7-3. Arizona gets the ball back. Oregon got a stop. Oregon's ball again. They went to that tempo. We've seen Kenny Dillingham's offense do this. They go to the tempo. Huge pass to Chris Hudson. Then a quarterback sneak. Suddenly it's 14-3. The crowd is quiet, and you're like, oh, things are going well. Next Arizona possession. Jeffrey Bassa got his first sack of the season, ended a drive, forced another punt. By the way, Arizona's punter, really good. Really good. Just from somebody who appreciates a good punter, shout out. But we're going to talk about Oregon's punting coming up because there were some boomers in there. Then it was Oregon's ball again. Solid running drive. A big 30-yard pass to Chase Cota. Really nice ball on that particular play early in the game, too. And they ran a really nice power run play to Maliki Matavau on a sweep. Trivia. Maliki Matavau is the first Oregon tight end to score a rushing touchdown since who? Not David Paulson. Later than that. That's Scott who's saying this. Later in time than David Paulson. About 2 years later. Not Pharaoh Brown. Before that. Colt Lyerla. In 2013, the last Oregon tight end. Shout out to Nate Kruger and the Oregon communication staff for finding that. Because I was wondering, when was the last time we saw a tight end rush for a touchdown? And especially Maliki Matavau is lined up as a tight end on the sweep, able to score. Continuing to show some creativity on offense. God, it was fun. 21-3. Arizona got got it to a third down, and this was a funky part of the game. So there's a commercial break. I'm down there on the field, and I'm like, oh, okay, commercial break, cool. Talk to Jerry and Georgie. What do you guys think up there? How's it look? Georgie, how's the food? Whatever we talk about. Well, they come back from break, and then they go to a review, and Dante Manning ends up being ejected for targeting. Upon review, Georgie knows more about this than I do. Georgie said, yeah, I think it's targeting. I just thought it was funky that they went to break, and then they came back, and then they reviewed it. It just felt a little discombobulated, and it kind of hurt the momentum of the game. And either way, it was a huge momentum shift because right after that, a running play went for a score for Arizona, and it's like, okay, Wildcats are back in it. It's 21-10. I think they got the call right, personally, but it just felt a little disjointed. So for fans listening to us and viewing it, I can understand why you're kind of like, hey, what happened? Because I get it. So anyway, didn't end up mattering much, but Dante Manning did exit the game, and that's why I bring up that previous conversation about Christian Gonzalez sliding in that meant that the Ducks had to rely on Julio Florence a little bit more, the defensive backfield depth being tested with Dante Manning out. Felt like the Ducks needed to answer in that road environment. You're up by 11, still a 2-score lead, but felt like they needed to answer. And they did. Troy Franklin, huge catch. That really helped. Then Jordan James finished the drive with a score. It's 28-10, still feeling confident. Arizona got a big run play at the end of the half. Coach Lanning was frustrated by that. Led to a field goal at 28-13, halftime. Talking with Coach Lanning at halftime. I said, all right, Coach, what'd you see in the first half? And he actually, I think, was pretty happy with the performance. Giving up that late field goal, though, I'll tell you, it irked him. Because remember, the Ducks called timeout with about 10 seconds left in the first half. Field goal gets kicked. He actually missed it. Icing the kicker sometimes goes against you. But I felt like Coach Lanning was a little frustrated, felt like it could have been a bigger lead than 28-13. And it wasn't quite the same feeling as it was 2 weeks ago with the Stanford game, where the penalties, you could just tell it irked the sideline. But then, in this game, it was another example of where Oregon's at as a program, that you're leading 28-13 and you feel like there's more there when you talk to the head coach at halftime. Says something about where the team's at. Anyway, Oregon ball to start the second half. Ducks drove down. Bo Nix scored on a keeper after Whittington got them really close. It's 35-13. Ducks are in control. They brought pressure on Arizona on the next drive. Get a ball tipped. Ends up as an interception by Florence. Maybe he was in there because Dante Manning had been ejected. Kind of felt similar to like how Mace Funo was in there when DJ Johnson had been ejected against Washington State. That's the depth, right? And I don't know. Maybe who knows if those guys would have been in there on those particular plays anyway, even if you didn't have any ejections. But it felt like that was a key for Oregon, the depth being on display. Ducks were back with it. Bucky Irving scored on some great downfield blocking. And I got to tell you, if you have not seen the clip, and you'll see it a little bit in the game recap, Troy Franklin's block downfield was ridiculous. I mean, he just buried a guy. It's 42-13. Penalty helped Arizona get it downfield the next drive. But at this point, it's the Ducks' ball, and they're just running wild offensively. Scored on another run by Bo Nix. Again, I'm going to highlight great blocking downfield. Shout out Alex Forsyth, who just destroyed a guy downfield on the 49-13 scoring drive. Ultimately, it ends up at 49-22. Arizona, I thought it was going to be closer than that. And Oregon, I thought, similarly, it took a big step forward because it wasn't closer than that. We did still see some competition at the punter position because Adam Berry came in later in the game and boomed a 58-yarder. So I think that punting competition going to continue. We'll hear from Coach Lanning. Not tonight. It's a bye week, so it's his regular – normally Monday evening would be his regular press conference. Instead, it'll be tomorrow. He'll meet with the media after practice. We'll have it for you here on Duck Insider to kick off the show tomorrow. That's the next time that we'll hear from Coach Lanning. I think the punting competition, though, probably continues. Fourth quarter was all Ducks, even though Arizona got things going a little bit. Ducks did bring in Ty Thompson, the twos, and the rest of the twos got some reps, and I think that's important. You want to get guys in there. We'll hear from Coach Lanning on that subject in just a little bit. Final score, 49-22. We've got some big takeaways. Ducks continue to show depth. Ducks continue to show some versatility and some big-time numbers and stats for you because this is an Oregon offense and a defense, particularly running the ball, that is elite. Atop the Pac-12 in both rushing offense and rushing defense. Usually a good formula for success. Jerry and Georgie on the call. Game recap, Ducks taking down Arizona on the road.
It's been a while since the Ducks have been at Arizona to take on the Wildcats.
This is a big game against a much improved Arizona team.
Goes back. Drop the ball. Oregon's on it. The Ducks get it. DJ Johnson. Play action. Nope, gave it to him. Cuts it up. Nice cut in the open. He might be able to. He's at the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Oregon. Wants to go deep. Got him down the middle, and it is caught. Nix is going to take it himself in for the score. Touchdown, Oregon, Bo Nix. On 3rd down and 9. Back to throw to Laura. Collapsing. Gets sacked back at the 34-yard line. Bossa got him by the ankles. Nix ready. Back to throw. Wants to go deep down the field, and Cota with a grab. What a Chase throw. Cota over the shoulder grabs. 2nd and goal. Nix turn. Oh, easy walk in. Touchdown, Oregon. Wants to go deep down the middle. He's got him, and the catch made. He had to climb the ladder to get to that one. And the snap. Give it to James. He will get it in. Touchdown, Oregon. Throws it over the middle. It's intercepted. Intercepted. Florence with the ball. We're going to out of bounds. Right into the hands of Jalil Florence. And gets the handoff. Huge hole up the middle. Foot race 10. Foot race 5. Cut it outside. Great block downfield. Touchdown, Oregon. Bucky Irving. And your final score. Arizona falls at home to your Ducks, 49-22. And this offense and defense just keep getting better.
They do keep getting better. Jerry and Georgie on the call. Your game recap from Oregon's win over Arizona. Some takeaways from that game when we come back. We're going to hear from Dan Lanning as well. Real quick. I got him again. Real quick, Oregon left tackle TJ Bass has been named the Pac-12 Offensive Lineman of the Week for the second week in a row. Conference just announcing that if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Fourth time in his career that Bass has earned the honor, matching former Duck Penei Sewell. Just a first-round draft pick, no big deal. For the most in the awards history since 2019. Bass also joined Sewell as the only players to receive the award in consecutive weeks. TJ Bass, Oregon offensive line, continuing to be pretty impressive. In fact, really impressive. Talk about that a little bit more coming up. Now we're going to head to break on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe. Do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time. Save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. A couple questions coming in from fans, and I do want to answer them. I'll do my best to keep up. I know a lot of people are wondering, like, hey, is game day going to come? I don't know. I really don't know. I would say that it's probably a good thought. Brad, though, asking specifically, with the game being on Fox, does that keep game day away? I don't think so. I mean, I hear what you're saying for sure. If this is just me talking, I have no inside knowledge on the subject. I really don't. Duck Insider, sorry. It's truly happened before. I mean, in fact, just last week, game day is in Lawrence. They're in the stadium right up to kickoff, and then kickoff was on Fox Sports 1. So it happens. I don't know. I don't think that it will be a huge deal anyway. Some of the takeaways in this particular game against Arizona. I mean, the numbers don't lie, right? 49-22. You outgain a team 580-356. You feel pretty good about that. And the balance from Oregon, 274 through the air, 306 on the ground. Now, the penalties. You'll hear how I asked Coach Lanning about the penalties on the postgame show. Then you're going to hear his response. And you're going to like it. I don't know that I could have asked the question much differently than I did either. You guys tell me when you hear it coming up in just a little while. Ducks had 6 penalties for 56 yards. Oregon had 29 first downs. They were 4 of 8 on third down, ran 70 plays, and they averaged 8.3 yards per play. Not bad, right? Ducks have been really good, and Bo Nix has been excellent. 20 for 25 passing, 265 yards. No touchdowns, but he had 8 carries for 70 yards and had 3 touchdowns. That's an average of 8.8 yards per carry for Bo Nix. We talked last week about his yards per carry numbers coming into this game. He continues to be really good. And how about the way he spread the wealth in Oregon's receiving core? Listen to these, and then I want to talk about the rushing in a second. Seven McGee had 4 catches for 34 yards. Chase Cota, 3 catches for 60 yards. Troy Franklin, 3 catches for 38 yards. Bucky Irving out of the backfield, 3 catches for 30 yards. Sean Dollars, 3 catches for 13 yards. Chris Hudson, 2 catches for 60 yards, including that one long bomb of 42. And Jordy was right. Jordy said this on our broadcast. In the NFL, that would have been a touchdown because he rolled into the end zone, right? No one touched him down. That's the college rule. And then his knee was down. That would be the NFL rule. Nobody touched him down. In the college rule, his knee came down. I get it. He rolled in, but tremendous catch. Then Terrence Ferguson, 2 catches. Mo Matavau had 1. Whittington had 1. Kyler Casper got in for 1. 10 different receivers caught a ball for the Ducks, spreading the wealth. And then in the rushing, Noah Whittington had 6 carries for 92 yards, including that long of 55. What burst from him on that run for 55 yards. Ran away from everybody. Bo Nix mentioned the 8 carries for 70 yards. Jordan James ended up with 10 carries for 69 yards. 6.9 yards per carry. Noah Whittington, 15.3 yards per carry. Bucky Irving, 12 for 67, 5.6 yards per carry. What else do you want? I mean, that's balance from the Ducks. And particularly on defense, too. Now, Triquez Bridges, because Arizona was throwing the ball all over the place, that's what they wanted to do, right? They wanted to throw the ball. Duck defensive backfield had a lot of tackles. Triquez Bridges had 5, and Jamal Hill had 5, 2 defensive backs leading in that category. Ducks, though, did get a sack from Bennett Williams. Ducks did get a sack from Jeffrey Bassa. Oregon, again, did not allow a sack. A couple people mentioned this to me last week, too. So the sack that Bo Nix got, the play that Bo Nix got sacked on was like half a yard behind the line of scrimmage. He almost got back to the line of scrimmage. That's the only sack that Oregon has allowed this year. Impressive what the offensive line has been able to do. Oregon comes into the bye week ranked 5th in the FBS, 5th in the FBS in total offense, 512.5 per game, and 8th in rushing, 241.67. Of those 8 teams averaging at least 240 rushing yards per game, Oregon is the only one also averaging at least 270 passing yards per game. Balance on offense. That's what Kenny Dillingham has done. It's been really impressive to watch. Really impressive to watch. First win for the Ducks against Arizona in Tucson since 2011. Oregon now owns a 12-1 lead over Arizona in games played in Tucson, actually. Ducks are pretty good on the road there. It's just a little bit of a struggle recently. 49 points for the Ducks offense after entering the game averaging 50 points since week 2. That's the 3rd best in the FBS during that stretch. Oregon's averaging about 50 points per game if you remove the Georgia game. They've gotten better, getting better. This is probably, I think, the closest that the Ducks have played to that complete game. And Dan Lanning was talking about that. We're going to hear from him in a moment. Ducks also had a season-high 3 takeaways with those 2 fumble recoveries and an interception. Turnovers. The defense getting those turnovers. That's what you want to see. Now, how about some of these numbers from Bo Nix? matched his career high and season high for rushing touchdowns. And he's the first Oregon quarterback since Jeremiah Masoli in 2009 to rush for 3 touchdowns in multiple games in a season. He's pretty good, guys. He's pretty good. Coach Lanning, I talked with him just outside the locker room. As part of the postgame show, these were the first thoughts that Coach had after the game. From our postgame show, my conversation with head coach Dan Lanning.
Well, Coach, let's just start with congratulations on the win. Got to be happy with the performance and a victory.
Yeah, I'm really proud of our team right now. That was one of these games. We knew they were going to come down. They have some really good skill players. They were going to have some success at times. I thought our guys handled the adversity well, played a 4-quarter game, got a lot of guys great experience. Certainly a lot that we can clean up, but overall really proud of our guys and the way they played.
You know, you talked coming into this game about wanting to play a complete game. Is this the closest you've been to a complete game as a team?
Yeah, it's the closest we've been, but we're not there yet. You know, it's the closest we've been. We're not there yet. But we did some good things. We didn't, relax. We talk about stepping on somebody's throat in the 4th quarter and not getting comfortable. I feel like our guys were a lot more aggressive and did that. So want to see us keep growing. We're entering a bye week at a perfect time. We're about to play a really good UCLA team, so we got to go get ready to go.
I want to talk about your offensive line a little. Felt like not just protecting the quarterback and opening up running lanes, but also some downfield blocking. Your assessment of the O-line?
Yeah, they were loading up the box at times, and our guys were still able to get movement. I mean, even in that 4th quarter, we had some other guys in, and they were knocking them off the ball, which is exactly what you want to see.
How about the rushing attack? How special was it tonight?
Yeah, I don't know what we finished with, but it's always good when you can dominate your opponent rushing the ball. I thought our guys did a good job of that. Our quarterbacks did a great job handling the run checks that we gave them. It was really positive tonight.
306 total yards, the guys upstairs just told me. How about the balance, too, Coach? Using the depth in the running game and the quarterback, too.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you can do both, you become a lot more difficult team to play. And for us to be able to have the ability to do both, obviously, is a big benefit to us.
How about that passing attack? How comfortable was your quarterback, Bo Nix, out there, and the pass catchers made some nice plays?
Yeah, they did a good job. I think the biggest thing you get excited about is when you talk about completions, right? When we threw the ball today, there was a high likelihood that we were going to complete the ball, right? And did a good job of not forcing any throws. There were a couple times it was taken away, and he won with his legs. When they got the opportunities to win on the perimeter, the wideouts, I thought, ran really tough with the ball.
How about defensively, Coach? You got a couple turnovers, and that always helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, turnovers are huge, especially when you play a team like this that has the offensive weapons they have. They're hard to match up with, right? They're really talented at wide out. Their quarterback does a good job. So those takeaways, especially that very first takeaway, that was a really big one early on.
Felt like you got a lot of pressure on the quarterback consistently, too.
Yeah, I had to go watch the film and see what that looked like. He's been a guy that's really done a good job evading the rush all year and extending plays. I don't feel like there was as many of those plays. He had to throw on time because we were getting close. That's definitely a good plan by our defensive coaches.
You touched on it earlier, just the depth of your team. I got a chance to get some other guys in there. That's always good.
Yeah, and I would have loved to see even more, right? But when they get in there, the standard doesn't change. We still have pride in performance and how we want to play. I thought our guys did a pretty good job of that overall.
Are you happier with the penalties tonight? I know that was a focus heading into this one.
I don't know about happier. I mean, it's better than it was last game, but last game was atrocious. We got better there. We're not where we need to be yet, right? We're going to keep growing.
Lastly, just going into the bye week, Coach, what are you going to be focusing on? What should fans expect from this program now, heading into a big game, as you said, with UCLA?
We're focused on Oregon. We're focused on getting better, right? We're about to play a really good UCLA team. We know they're really talented, but there's a lot of things that we can go fix. And while everybody else relaxes on the bye week, we're going to go attack our weaknesses and make them strengths.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for the time. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach. We talked with him just outside the locker room on our wireless mic, and then we had to catch the flight and head back home. That's what happens on a post-game show. You're going quick, and I appreciate Coach Lanning for taking the time. A lot of good takeaways, though, huh? I think that you heard me ask him about the penalties, and he was honest. Last week was not a bar that you want to set. This week, better. Not where they want to be. Growth mindset. That's what this team talks about all the time. Good stuff from Dan Lanning. When we come back, we're going to have a little fun, tell you a little bit about this pink game. Some good stuff on the way. Uniforms. It's going to be a good 12:30 kickoff after the bye week. We are not relaxing during the bye week. No, sir. Duck Insider is going to get better. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the Drug Facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the Drug Facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/Drug Facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're going to talk with Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach, in just a moment. We've also got some fun things with the pink uniforms, and I'm also, I promise, going to completely make fun of myself. Do it every day. This time we're going to do it with conviction. That's coming up on the show today as well. Oregon soccer over the weekend, a split with the Mountain Schools, and head coach Graeme Abel is here to join us. Hey, Coach.
How we doing?
How you doing? Things okay?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I'd rather talk to you after a 2-0 weekend, but a 1-1 weekend, it's better than an 0-2 weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Thursday night Utah's a tough place to go. I mean, the Mountain Schools are just brutal to go to anyway, and just with the travel, and got a good result. Defended well. We're able to sneak the goal. And get that result, and then. Really disappointed we didn't get something out of yesterday. We hit the post in the first half, and we think if we go 1-0 there, then it changes the momentum of the game completely. And disappointed how we gave the goal away, just in terms of them getting the penalty and how that came about. And we feel as though that was preventable. Kind of chat about it this morning. So, yeah, I mean, anytime you're walking away from those two on that trip, going okay, we feel as though we could have at least picked up the win and the tie, if not 2 wins. Then. And, it's you move in the right direction if you're disappointed about that.
It's interesting you bring up the penalties. Kind of take fans back through that if you could, because it's now back-to-back weeks, unfortunately. I'm asking you about a penalty that really impacted a game.
Yeah. I mean, it's 3 games in a row.
That's true.
If it wasn't for the save on Thursday.
That's
so,
true.
We've chatted about this a lot, with set pieces being a big part of the game, and, not giving away set pieces by staying on your feet and defending and pushing players outside of the areas you want them to go. That's what we look to do, and we've jumped in on a tackle, and we've fouled them on the edge of the 18-yard box. They've had a free kick. We've gone to block it. We haven't kind of embed the right body shape, and the hands come up, and it's given us a penalty against us. So. Yeah, not a nice way to lose a game.
But it's a coaching moment, right? You talked about it with
is a coaching moment. It's and again, when you look look at a lot of the goals we've conceded this morning. It's not like a team is shredding us apart. There are things that we have to learn from, and there are new things that are coming up every single week. But we have to keep making the adjustments and have to keep taking the coaching points on board.
Well, and that's coaching in a nutshell right there, right?
Yeah.
Is adjustments throughout the course of the season.
Yeah.
Feels like you guys have had to make more than the average season this year, though.
I was just talking to someone earlier. We went from kind of being a transitional team at the start of the year to then halfway through the year, okay, we can't be that out-and-out transitional team anymore, and then now it's very much a little bit more of an organised attacking team, and so it's changes styles as we go with personnel.
I think that it's a common question in all sports, right? Like, are you a coach that wants to adapt your style to the team you have, or are you a coach that you bring in pieces and they're going to play your style? You've kind of had to adapt everything throughout the course of the year, huh?
Yeah, we have to adapt based on the personnel that we have and the personnel that we have coming back, and if they're coming back, how long can they play? If they can only play 20 minutes or 20 minutes a half, 10 minutes a half, whatever it is, well, then you can't be that style for that. And then so you kind of try and find some consistency for your team, something for them to hang on to, and then work through it that way.
Set pieces, you touched on that.
Yeah.
Always important. More set pieces for Oregon. That's what I'm looking for next week.
Well, without a doubt, we always try to do that piece. You know what I mean, and try to get more set pieces to set us up. We got really good players that can serve balls. We do have good aerial presence players, good second phase players. So anytime we can get set pieces, it helps us.
I do want to ask you about some individuals, because getting Leah Freeman back had to be a big deal for your team. Just not even just on the field, coach, but also just probably being back with the team on the field. There is something to be said for that, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a. I think if you're an opposition team and you see her name in the team sheet as well, number one, that's a psychological blow, because she's the top goalkeeper in the conference, we feel, and probably one of the best in the nation in that piece. So, I mean, it was great. Julia did a great job versus USC, and she's got a really bright future ahead of her here at Oregon. So, we are. It was great to have Julia. It was great to have Leah back in the team, and she had two really good games, both Utah and Colorado.
Well, I'm going to brag about her a little bit, because it's a new career record for shutouts.
Yeah.
As a goalkeeper, and this is not her senior year.
No.
That says something.
Well, she's done it 2.5 years. She's done it in.
Yeah, 2.5 years, and it's a career record at Oregon for shutouts. That says something, doesn't it, Coach?
It says something for Leah, for how I think the defenders shut in front of her: Hannah Taylor, Croy, Shaw, Anna Phillips, Bell. I mean, I can go on and on. Chai, all these players that have played in front of her as well, and those guys have jumped on board. In my time in here, in terms of how they've defended and how they've gone about their business, and they've done it really well. And we've had a lot of really, really good results on the back of performances by those guys.
No doubt. Graeme Abel joining us, Oregon soccer head coach. Some other career marks that I wanted to touch on today. Zoe Hasenauer started her 84th career match on Sunday. Tied former teammate Chardonnay Curran, who played from 17 until last year, 21, for the Oregon school record. Zoe Hasenauer continues to rewrite the record book, doesn't she?
I mean, she's number one, she's a great kid, and she's going to have a great career after Oregon as well. But no, she's such an important part for us, and has grown and is now shown more leadership and as well. So no, we're gonna miss Zoe when she's gone, but others will step up to the plate as well. So, but no, she's a great individual.
Friday at Washington State, so Zoe Hasenauer, watch for that. Might be a new career record set. We'll
Don't
tell you
be giving
the.
You usually tell everyone.
I said might.
No, okay.
I said
good,
might.
That's good.
It's possible that she
give him the whole lineup. He'll give it out.
Possible.
No secrets around here with Joey.
No. Duck Insider. Inside information, right? We joke, though, like, your guys' lineup has been so fluid.
Yeah.
You're probably pretty tough to scout, right? I don't know.
Probably.
Are you?
And it's tough to pick the lineup week to week.
Well,
Never
right.
mind scout and stuff. So, number one, you've got to give so much credit again to our kids, because they've adjusted, and we've not had the results we've wanted at times, and we've played players out of different positions, and you're trying never to hang on the injury piece all the time when you're coaches, because I always hear that and I'm like, oh, give me a break with that piece. But I give all the kudos and credit to our kids, because they've adjusted, they've they've never complained about it. We've got to do this week. We've got to do this week, and we've had players playing out of position. We've had some outstanding performances from it. So,
well, on that note, I want to say this too, because I feel like it's a great reminder of where things are going. Because you guys are sitting at 4, 5, and 4, and fans, remember, it's not just RPI. You got to be at 500 to be eligible for the NCAA tournament. And I don't know if you're talking to the team about that at this point in the year, but certainly something that I think about, with look at RPI, but the 4 and 5, and that's where I'd imagine it's frustrating in a game you felt like you could have had against Colorado, right? That kind of starts to add up at this point in the season.
Yeah, I mean, we look. I mean, we're talking as a coaching staff, and we look back to previous games, and if we had this or we had this piece, or this hadn't changed for us, how would it have? You're playing ifs and buts and ands and all that piece that goes with it. But yeah, I mean, we feel as though we could have at least gotten the tie out of that. And now you sat at 500, and we're aware of it as a team. We have to educate them through it as we go through the year, and but we're fairly laid back about it as well, because we know we're defending well as a team. We're limiting opponents to the chances we want them to create out if they were going to create anything, and we know we can nick a goal on teams.
Right.
We don't have our full array of firepower, we know that, but we know we're still dangerous enough to pick a team off.
And on that note, for some perspective for everybody as we're having this conversation, Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach, joining us. This weekend's game marked the first time this season that all 7 returning starters from 2021 were playing together. Freeman, Elmore, Hasenauer, Shaw, Cortez, Phillips, Soto, all on the field together. Those are your returning starters from last year. This is the first time we've seen them on the field all at the same time.
Didn't know that.
Does that put it in perspective?
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, it's I never want to take anything away from our other student athletes though that have played. Yes, they're returners and they're returning starters because that's what we make of it in the media and things like that.
That's what blokes like me say.
Yeah, that's what you say. So. No, but we've had so many other kids step up to the plate, and it's, in big performances. I go back earlier in the year, Ainsley, when she made a debut against Texas and was exceptional. Julia's made a debut in difficult moments there versus UCLA and USC, and has done exceptional as well. So there's many performances of people who have been exceptional for us. So it's great to get those guys back because they bring experience without a doubt, and it helps the others as well in terms of their journey moving forward.
And now with them all back, this is a reminder, like you're sitting there one game below 500. Yeah. You are getting a little stronger here down the stretch, it seems like, aren't you?
Yeah, and hopefully Nay's closer as well, so she'll be back soon, and so we'll get those, we'll get her back as well, and then we'll start to build the minutes up for other people. For Caitlin Shaw, Croy's pretty much now back, we have to play Croy in the front line early on just to get her minutes, and Kess is pretty much back to full go as well, so we feel good about that.
Everybody's a little different, but can you take fans through like the coaching, the sports science process of getting someone back up to speed? Like, what's the average time? How do you go about managing that workload?
It depends on the type of injury. I think if it was a break or a ligament injury or something like that, then there's we have to bring them back without the team, and then we bring them in with the team where there's no contact, and they get through that piece, and then we bring them back under contact, and then once you get them through that piece, it's okay, how many minutes can we give them without them sustaining some other type of injury? Because there's always, when you bring players back from long-term injuries, there's always an overuse injury in a different part of the body, whether it's a groin or it's a quad or something like that. So we manage that piece, and it might be we take someone up, we bring them back down, we take someone up, we bring them back down. But the goal is to make sure that the things that we can control, that we control that piece, and we don't get someone picking up a silly injury, a soft tissue injury that we could have prevented. So everybody's different, and again, I think you've got to rely on the entire team around you, the medical side, the sports science side, to guide you with that piece.
Takes a village.
Takes a village.
It sure does. Back-to-back road trips. Is that difficult? I mean, it sounds obviously difficult.
I think we're best on the road in the last couple of years.
That's true.
I mean, I think we've been beaten twice on the road in the last 2 years or something. I think we got beat by Stanford and then the Utah game.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, the Colorado game. So, so we do really well on the road, and our kids, that's a big flip from, that was one of the flips we needed to change when we came in, and our kids have done a really good job with that piece. So now we look forward to going on the road. Pullman's a tough environment. We know that program there was there for a couple of years. Myself, Rach played there, so we know it really, really well. So we'll prepare the team as we do, and we'll go out there to try and get the result.
Friday, 7 o'clock, up in Pullman, Ducks taking on Washington State. Nice to have one this weekend instead of two.
Yeah. We've got midterms coming up next week as well, so it gives the kids that little bit of a break as well after the game in terms of the mental health side, time management. I think with collegiate kids is always a challenge. Sure. Just, I'm 42 years of age, it's still a challenge for me. So it gives them that break as well as we head into the final part of the season where it's going to be tight, and so we want to make sure they're in a good place across the board.
On the road again, Oregon soccer taking on Washington State on Friday. Keys to success, what's it going to take?
It's going to be a physical battle, number one. I think Washington State, very, very good in transition. We saw the game last year, with the set pieces as well. We talk about that every single week. But, we need to be able to compete with those guys physically, impose ourselves on them physically, and then, not let the game get stretched. If the game gets stretched, that's the type of game that they want in terms of, north to south. And so we want to make sure the game's fairly compact and manageable, and then we'll go from there.
He's Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach. Coach?
Awesome. Thanks
for taking the time.
Anytime for you.
Really appreciate it. You don't mean that.
I do. Across the road from you there. Anytime. Just knock on my door. Come do an interview with you.
Such a good guy. You could host the show.
Yeah. I thought, Kelly Graves was going to host the show.
He's going to.
Kelly and Oma.
Yeah, right before the pandemic, it was going to be like start of the spring matches. Coach Ulmer was going to come in and have it be like a promo. And then Coach Graves, once basketball season was over, was going to do it. Then the pandemic hit. And so we haven't gotten a chance to do it yet. What would you talk about? Like, what would be the lead segment on Graeme Abel's Duck Insider?
No idea.
You gotta
I really
think
thought about it. Come on, look at me. I'm not a TV personality. I just come in and do these pieces with my accent, my lisp, nobody will understand me. You'd have to get subtitles going.
So that's what's funny that you say that, though, because we have auto-generated captions now.
I would love to know what it
yours
says
are
for
actually
me.
pretty good.
Not a chance.
It actually does all right.
Really?
Yeah. Now, things like Autzen Stadium, it tends to show up as like OTTS.
So
N.
So this is how bad my accent and my lisp and all that stuff gets at times, okay? My wife will probably kill me for telling me this. But when my son was younger, we had to take him to a speech therapist when he was younger for some things. The speech therapist kindly said to us, when you do the exercise with your son, please don't let your husband do them with him.
Yeah, well.
So that was a bit of an ego check as a parent right there.
Know your role.
Know your role, exactly.
Yeah.
Know your role. Do your role.
Do it well.
Do your job.
Thanks again, Coach. Good luck up there in Pullman. Safe
Appreciate
travels.
it.
We're going to get time out. When we come back, I will thoroughly make fun of myself on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it is Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Your Cafe 2-minute drill. Oregon volleyball lost a 5-setter at Washington State. First Pac-12 loss for the Ducks. Didn't have Hannah Pukas in the lineup. We'll talk with Coach Ulmer about that coming up. A 5-setter at Washington. Ducks were down 2-0. They came back to force a fifth set with a 25-22 and 25-21 decision in sets 3 and 4 respectively. But then fell 15-12, saved 3 match points, and it was like, oh, man, God, it was frustrating. Lost a top 20 thriller against Washington up in Seattle. So the Ducks dropped a couple this weekend up in the Evergreen State. We'll see if the Ducks bounce back, and Coach Ulmer will be with us on the show on Wednesday. You heard women's soccer, head coach Graeme Abel talking about it. Lost to Colorado 1-0 on a penalty kick, but they did get Utah on Thursday. I told you about that a little bit on Friday. They're now 4-5-4. Heading down the stretch. It's the Oregon football bye week. Coach Dan Lanning going to meet with the media tomorrow. We'll have it for you to start the show tomorrow, as well as an exit interview, if you will, with Deputy Athletic Director Lisa Peterson before she moves into a Senior Associate Commissioner role with the Pac-12 Conference. Looking forward to talking with Lisa. It's going to be a hard conversation. I think Lisa told me, she's like, this is going to be a tough one, huh? And I said, yep. I've been collecting questions from coaches, staff, and fans, actually. Some doozies that I think are going to make her think about it. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a really great time. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill, always brought to you by Cafe Yum restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington. Menus are at cafeyum.com. All right, I said I was going to make fun of myself, but I want to make sure that we covered the bases here. The pink game is coming up, and the uniform that the Ducks are wearing is outstanding. It's become pretty traditional now, if there's such a thing at Oregon to be traditional, to wear the pink accented uniform. And it's, of course, all about fighting cancer. And you've seen it on the mannequin. We outfitted Richard with the Stomp Out Cancer t-shirt. And the Ducks are going to be honoring all of us that have been impacted by cancer. And that's what the pink game is all about. Started out all about breast cancer. That was sort of the pink uniform. But I think it's really taken on a narrative bigger than that. And I understand that the jersey is already sold out. The Duck store might have a few left. And they've got the Stomp Out Cancer stuff already out and for sale. Head to the Duck store if you need any new Duck swag for the pink game. Because remember, it's a wear pink game against UCLA coming up with that 12:30 kickoff. Oh, I can't wait. All right, quick timeout. When we come back, thoroughly making fun of the host of this program. As usual, on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Earlier today, we heard from Dan Lanning, I forgot to mention, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Seems fitting to have that partnership with WVCI, especially this week. You'll see a lot about WVCI and our partnership with them as part of this Pink game coming up against UCLA. 12:30 kickoff on Fox or Fox Sports 1 at Autzen Stadium. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Both teams coming off a bye week if you missed some of the news earlier today. The kickoff time has been announced, and we'll have some more details as things move forward. So, during the game, I'm on the sideline, as one is when you're the sideline reporter for the football broadcast. And on kickoffs, I like to go and watch from the end zone. I can kind of see things better in certain situations from the end zone instead of being like on the sideline looking diagonal, you know. I like standing in the end zone. So, just a thunderous kickoff for the Ducks. I mean, it's become common that Andrew Boyle is just kicking them out of the back of the end zone. So I'm standing there near the goalpost adjacent, if you will. And he kicks it, and I look, and I'm like, oh, no. That was a great kickoff. Coming right at me. So where's my football? Do I have a stress ball that's a football? Yeah, I do, right here. Okay, so we're going to reenact this for you. So it's tumbling for me, right? It's coming right at me. So I have a decision to make. Do I drop the microphone? Because I'm not going to try to make a one-handed catch. I wasn't that good of an athlete. Probably never made a one-handed catch on a football field in my life. So I'm like, okay, do I drop the microphone and do we try to just, do the good kick return or basket catch and secure and, don't fumble? It's all about ball security on special teams. Or do I act like I'm not paying attention and just, oh, it bounced near me. Oh, shoot. Or do I just casually move out of the way? What do? I casually moved out of the way. Because if you don't make the catch, everybody makes fun of you forever on social media. You're better off to just get out of the way. Well, you know what Jorgie wanted? He wanted me to not be paying attention and have it hit me somewhere uncomfortable. Thank you, Jorgie. I think I made the right decision not embarrassing myself. See you tomorrow, everybody.
Meet Ed, movie buff, animal lover, safe driver.
5 years of driving an ambulance teaches you a thing or two. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. When I see a car trying to rush past a turning bus, I get concerned. You see, when big vehicles turn right, they have to swing wide to make the turn. And that's a lesson you don't want to learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait.
It's our roads.
It's our safety.
Visit www